Yes! Alrighty, what's up everybody? It is I, your Tribal God of Extreme, Peter Joseph here for a pretty chilly Monday night! And it's Monday night, you know what that means, we got Monday Night Raw coming your way at the top of the hour. Should be a pretty good show, the aftermath of Saturday night's main event. Got a couple new champions in Jade Cargill for the SmackDown Women's Championship. She won that, beating Tiffy Tip. We'll talk about her probably on Friday. And for the men, well, we got CM Punk. He won the Raw Heavyweight Champion, the World Heavyweight title again for the second time, 7th overall, beating Jey Uso. So he will be in the house tonight, and we'll see what happens with him. And a whole lot more tonight on Monday Night Raw. Got a couple women's matches. Should be interesting. And we'll see what else comes your way tonight on Monday Night Raw as we are starting the road. We're starting the road to Raw Games in San Diego. 3 weeks from Saturday. So on that road. But also, I believe we're starting the tournament to see who faces John Cena on December the 13th, the next Saturday's main event, the final Saturday's main event for the year. So, I think that tournament starts tonight. We'll see what happens with that. 16-men tournament. And from Raw, SmackDown, and NXT, I don't know about TNA and Evolve. Maybe they'll be in there, but we'll see what happens with that. And who faces John Cena in his final match, December the 13th, in Washington, D.C. And that's that. So, could be an interesting Raw. We'll probably talk about Raw either later or tomorrow. And that's that. But I hope everybody had a great day, and if not, well, too bad for you. I had a pretty decent day, man. Just moving on. Moving on with my life. First week of November. We are 3 weeks away from Thanksgiving. Can't wait for that. And then the holiday season starts, and the greatest month in the world with the greatest people in the world that celebrate birthdays coming your way in a little over 3 weeks. So as we hit, pretty much actually 4 weeks from today, starts the greatest month in the world. You know it. You love it. You can't get enough of it. It's December. So, the December babies are coming, and the birthdays and all that good shit. Can't wait. And then Christmas, Christmas Eve, and New Year's Eve, and then we drop that stinky ball, kiss 2025 goodbye, and we head into the new year, 2026. And, we'll see what happens with that. Resolutions, whatever it may be, clean slate, whatever it may be, as we go into the new year. And hopefully, better things in the United States of America and around the world, but I doubt that. But it is what it is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as we get to Raw, and we'll talk about AEW probably after Raw, and then, like I said, probably tomorrow afternoon we'll talk about AEW Dynamite and Collision. Get you ready for the show on Wednesday. And then late tomorrow night, we'll talk about NXT. And that's pretty much it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, on this late Monday, not late Monday night, on this Monday evening, November the 3rd, 2025, thank you all once again for watching. I'm once again your gracious host, your tribal god, Peter Joseph. I am a content creator to talk about the wonderful world of professional wrestling, or whatever the fuck I want to talk about. And if you like it, great. You don't, well, fuck off. And that's that. And if you're new, well, welcome to the party. Grab yourself a nice cold one. Enjoy the show. If not, go fuck yourself and get out, like I said before. Go to somebody else's channel that is not better than me. But I'm the best, and you know it. That's that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for yours late and getting close to out of date, well, pretty much is out of date, Ring of Honor review! Once again, another week, another Ring of Honor episode because TNA is on hiatus for a little bit. should be back this Thursday, hopefully, with some new tapings and new shit. But we'll see as we go through November. All right, so your Ring of Honor review for All Hallows Eve, Halloween Eve, October the 30th, 2025. Once again, still at Daly's Place in Jacksonville, Florida. And once again, our commentary team every Thursday night and on pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. Ian Rick Boring and my good buddy, the Pasta, Caprice Coleman. If I don't do this, he gets really mad. So, there you go. Alright, we are 4 weeks away from Final Battle, 4 weeks from Friday. And our Final Battle, don't forget, is from Ohio, December the 5th. Alright. We're closing in on the 4th calendar month of the Women's Pure Rules Tournament, which is going nowhere. Don't know what we're going to do with it, but we have that. Alright, before we even start the show, we have the Swirl. That's Lee Johnson and Blake Christian. They're annoyed at the lack of advancement despite winning all the time. Well, don't blame the fans. Blame your boss, Tony Khan, for not knowing what to do with his company. Should have never bought Ring of Honor. Should have let it die. I'm sorry to say that, but it is what it is. All right, so after that, we go to the opening sequence, run down the card, and then we go to our first match of the night, which wasn't really great, a trios match. We had the Peacock, Dalton Castle, who's now been teaming up with one of my favorite tag teams in AEW and Ring of Honor. That's Tyro Floyd and Truth Magnum. Still follow me on Twitter. You guys are great. I love you guys. Not like that, but you know what I mean. So, the Outrunners. Gotta love those guys. Alright, they take on this team called The Gifted, which is Tyshawn Perez, Leroy Shogun, and some other guy. Anyway, 3.5 minutes suckfest. Did I say 3.5 minutes suckfest? Yeah, I did. It's also with Truth Magnum and Tyshawn Perez starting things off with exchange of headlocks, circa 1984. An arm drag takes Perez down. Then Leroy Shogun comes in, hits a hard chop. You woke him up now. You pissed them off. And then everybody comes in. Turbo Floyd takes down Leroy and Perez at the same time. Dalton Castle comes in for some suplexes, and then the Outrunners do the Mega Powers Elbow, brother. And then Dalton hits a bangerang. 1, 2, 3 to get the win in a boring match. I gave 2.25 out of 5 stars. And that's it. And we're off and running on Ring of Honor TV. Ladies and gentlemen. That's that. Alright, match number 2, we go to the ladies. We go to my girl, Billy Starks, only 20 years old. She's still a sweetheart. I don't care. Billy Starks taking on Aaliyah James. A little bit longer than the first match. Not as great, but still. This comes from last week where Billy walked out on Aaliyah James in their tag team match. So it's also with Billy getting caught in a basic 1905 wrist lock. Then a 1904 monkey flip. Sends Billy down again. Then a drop kick knocks Billy outside. So Aaliyah really giving it to Billy. Not like that, but you know. So that knocked Billy to the outside, which comes right back in with a face plant. Then a DDT out the corner gets a near fall. And then she starts beating down Aaliyah James with some forearms. Goes to the Swanton Bomb. And Aaliyah James got her knees up. And then kicks Billy right in the head. Ow. And a Fisherman Suplex gives Aaliyah James a near fall. Billy kicks her in the face again after that. And then she hits the collateral damage or the Bleed Buster on the knee. Maybe the Ushigoroshi, whatever you want to call it. that gets Billy in their fall. So she then is fed up with Aleah James. She puts her in a fruit rolled up with her feet on the rope. Referee did not see it, and she has to win. A little cheap win for Billy, but we'll take it. And a match that was under 7 minutes long, but still 2.25 out of 5 stars, and that's that. Billy doing her own thing right now because her boss, Athena, is hanging out with Mercedes Moné. The 12 belt bitch. Soon to be 13, possibly 14 belt bitch. But we'll see what happens with that, and we move on. Alright, so 2.25 out of 5 stars for that. Alright, match number 3, we have the Don Callis family, the ever-growing Don Callis family. Of, Rocky the Man on SA. And Lance Archer, everybody dies! So I have a little bit of a Roppongi Vice 3.0, 4.0, whatever it's up to now, reunion. And then take it on Aaron Solo Mibuki and QT Marshall Not. Alright, before the match, Don Callis insults the fans. And then the referee starts yelling. It's like, get out of here, you bald-headed bitch! Get out of here. Go hang out with the Young Bucks. Or something. Anyway. So it starts with QT and Mr. Aaron Solo. They still in the ring and send Lance Archer to the floor. How? I don't know, but they did it. And then we settle down to Aaron Solo with a basic arm drag to Rocky Romero. Hands off to QT Marshall Not, who makes the mistake of going after Lance Archer on the apron. Uh-oh. And then he gets sent to the outside where Don Callis hammers on him. Really weak fucking punches. Weak. I could beat Don Callis' 60-year-old ass in my sleep. Cyrus the Virus, you punk. Anyway, moving on. And then the commentary's like, what the hell are you doing? Referee! Do something! Do something! Come on! Anyway. Alright, so they get back in. QT Marshall Not. Man, you say quick shot. Gets the hot tag to Aaron Solo. We will give for some house cleaning. Lance Archer comes in, gets kicked in the head, which leaves Rocky the Man on SA to make the save. Then a pop-up forearm into a super kick, cuts Rocky Romero down, but then Lance Archer comes back in with a choke slam. And then Trent Beretta, who is at ringside, also part of Roppongi, gets a cheap shot from the floor, and then a top rope double stop by Rocky the Man on SA. Gets the win, and it's probably his first win in Ring of Honor in like God knows how long. Match wasn't even that great, so I gave it 2.25 out of 5 stars. And then after the match, the beatings will continue. And they started beating down both men. And then Don Callis gets in a little bitty weak shot. And then Big Boom AJ, one of the Costco guys, comes in to save QT Marshall Not. And it looks like they're going to have a tag team match at Full Gear, and I hope it's on the pre-show, because nobody wants to see it on the main show. But I think later on, I think it's this show that QT Marshall Not got hurt. But we'll see what happens with that. So that whole match ends after segment 2.25 out of 5 stars. And that's that. Alright, then we go to the back with the Outrunners, Turbo Floyd, Treat Magnum, and the Peacock. Dalton Castle, they're happy with their big win. And they're saying, oh, nothing's gonna stop us now. I fear nothing. And then Dalton runs into the biggest version of the Jacksonville Jaguars mascot we've ever seen. He's like, whoa! Are you scared of you? So he slows down a bit, and then, okay, well, see you later. Blah! Damn it! That was kind of funny, so, yeah. So, 2.5 out of 5 stars, that's that. Alright, back to ringside we go for more action, because as we all know, a little less talk, and a lot more action. Right here on BCR. The Ring of Honor Report. You heard that from my ex, so. Because she coined that and is copyrighted. but I'm allowed to say it because we both copyright it. You say it, you're getting fined. You're gonna get in big trouble. Just saying. Alright, moving on. Alright. Back to the ring we go. A non-title proving ground match as the pure champion Lee Moriarty, who hasn't defended that belt in like a year. Well, he has, but, not recently. So, he's giving Alex Zane a proving ground match, and if Alex Zane wins or survives a 10-minute time limit, he gets a future title shot. Alright, so it's also with Alex taking him down by the leg, but taking Lee Johnson down, Lee Moriarty down by the leg to start. Then they trade waist locks. Then the Border City stretch sends Alex Zane to the ropes for his first rope break. So Lee Moriarty knocks it on again. Then a slingshot splash gives Lee Moriarty a near fall. Then he cranks on both arms. Ow. But then he switches into a 1904 abdominal stretch. And then Alex Zane has to use his second rope break. But Alex has some more luck with a suplex and the flipping axe kick. Interesting, gets a near fall. Lee Moriarty kicks out of an ankle lock. But Alex Zane is right back with the same thing. But this time, Lee Moriarty rolls out, so Alex Zane gives him a flipping face plant. A lot of flippy-dippy-doos with Alex Zane. Get used to it. So that gets a near fall. Then a running Hurricanrana out of the corner gets broken up. And then Lee Moriarty rolls into an STF. And Alex Zane tapped out. He could have went for the third break, but he was not even close to the rope, so he tapped out in 7.5 minutes. Match was decent, not bad, 2.5 out of 5 stars. And then afterwards, rarely this happens with Lee Moriarty, a code of honor. You love to see it. But rare that Lee Moriarty, a heel-ish, with a code of honor. There you go. And that's that. Alright, after that, that's it. After that, we get a recap of the premier athletes. That's Tony Nese and Ari Daivari and Smart Mike, Mark Sterling, attacking the grizzled young veterans Drake and Gibson and Isla Dawn. Alright, so we get to this kind of mixed intergender, whatever you want to call it, 6-man tag team match. Smart Mark Sterling is back, talks about how great it is to have him back on the same night that Story Denali is making her Jacksonville debut. So he's at ringside, so Story Denali is in this match. I believe this is her first or second actual match in Ring of Honor. Because she beat the fuck out of Isla Dawn last week. Oi! But we move on. Alright, so it starts off with Tony Nese, the premier athlete, pausing to pose, because he's, prima donna. But, no, I'm kidding. He's a good guy. I met him so many times. Anyway, so he pauses the pose for putting Gibson in a 1905 headlock. Gibson can't roll out of that, but he gets away. He gets away, but misses some clotheslines. Then he does the old Rowdy Piper poke in the eye. Wait, double poke in the eye. Drake comes in to take over on Daivari, and it's off to Isla Dawn, who snaps off a suplex on Story Denali. And they have a big old stare down. She gets kneed in the corner. A single shot to the face. BAP! Cuts off Isla Dawn. So Tony Nese comes back in. Only to have his fingers bitten. Ah! We got a biter! Then it's back to Drake to chase Gibson outside. Where Story Denali gets in Drake's way. You ain't going over there. And back in a quick flying carpet splash by Mr. Daivari hits Drake for a near fall, and then the heels start taking over. A belly-to-back suplex gets the hot tag to James Gibson to pick up the pace, including stomping the period athletes down in the corner. Tony Nese gets sent to the floor, and then Ari Daivari gets suplexed. Ouch. On the outside, back in, Tony Nese breaks up the Doomsday device, but gets sent outside for a flippy and dibbity-doo. I forget who did that, but anyway. Story Denali comes in to knock Drake off the top ropes, and then Isla Dawn sweeps the Danielson. But that gets shrugged off by the tall Story Denali, who grabs a choke slam. Boom! 1, 2, 3, good night, Isla Dawn. You can probably call her Isla Night after this one, because she went night-night. And that's it. So Story Denali and the Premier Athletes get the win in under 9 minutes. Match wasn't that bad, but Story Denali, I haven't seen much of her on the indies, but what I saw last night, not last night, Thursday night, was very impressive. Very impressive, Skywalker. Very impressive. I'm interested, as Roman would say. So, look out for Story Denali on Ring of Honor TV. She big. It's not like China per se, but or Camille or anybody like that. That's big, But she can put a whooping on somebody, and that's that. Let me move on. All right, so 2.5 out of 5 stars for that. All right, then we go to another tag team match. This time, the Swirl, Blake Christian and Lee Johnson, they take on Commander and the man behind the mask, Mascara Dorada. This was pretty good. It's also with Blake Christian flipping Mascara Dorada off. He's like, "Fuck you, ese pedo." Uh-oh. That's not going to fly with the Mexican luchador. So Dorada flips around a little bit, does some flippy-dippity-doos, stuff like that. Then a wrist drag out of the corner, drops Blake Christian, who rolls Mascara Dorada into the corner for the tag to Lee Johnson. That means a big-time clothesline for a near fall on Dorada, who sends the Swirl into each other, gets the tag to Commander, comes in but gets sent to the apron where a super kick puts him on the floor. Lee Johnson then hits a big running flippy dippity-doo. And the heels drape them over the barricade. Blake Christian as a dive onto their back. Ow. Before going after Commander's eye. There. Back inside the ring. Commander fights out of trouble. Brings in Mascara Dorada to make the comeback on Lee Johnson. And then all 4 men are in the ring. The luchadors snap off some running hurricanranas to the floor. Then stereo flippy dippity-doos. Drop the Swirl again. And then Mascara Dorada locks in, well, doesn't lock in, he, small package to Lee Johnson, for a near fall back on the inside of the ring. And then, a handspring kick to face, bleed, buster, combo, drops Mascara Dorada for a near fall. Then, gets the diving tag, the Commander comes in, once again, all 4 men are in the ring. Blake Christian's lethal injection, oh, he's gonna get letters from Jay Lethal. That gets a near fall on Commander as Mascara Dorada made the save. Then some kicks to the head into a poison Rana, puts Lee Johnson down. And then Mascara Dorada hits the shooting star press. 1, 2, 3 in probably the longest match of the night. A little over 11.5 minutes. Mascara Dorada and Commander get the win. Pretty decent match. 3 out of 5 stars. And that's that. Looked like the Swirl was about to go for the tag team belts, but took a little step back. And that's it. And that's your main event. So, not a great episode of Ring of Honor. About 4 or 5, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 matches in the span of about an hour or so. But not the greatest match in the world, the greatest show in the world, but still, it's Ring of Honor. So it is what it is. So I'm going to give Ring of Honor 6.25 out of 10 stars. Let me know what you guys thought of the show in a comment down below. You can also do your own video if you want. But leave a comment down below. Please hit that like button. Smash it to death. Stick that thumb straight up the hater's ass, because that's where it belongs. And all this shit. Leave a positive comment down below. Give you these stupid comments. Bye-bye to that. Bye-bye to you. You get sent to the Shadow Realm, where Satan and Ozzy will eat your soul. So please, do not do that. If you want to do it, go to your dead channel and go have fun with yourself. And that's that. But if everybody else wants to leave a comment about the topic at hand, you can do that. About Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, NXT, Japan, stuff like that. But anything else, I may or may not entertain it. So, but if it's stupid it's definitely getting blocked, and so will you. And that's that. Alright, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to get ready for Raw on Netflix coming up in a half hour from now. So, and then after Raw, like I said, we will talk about Dynamite and Collision over on my Peter Joseph channel, and that'll be the end of the night. Unless something big comes up, we'll see. And that's that. But like I said, tomorrow we'll talk about after I vote, because tomorrow's election day. So don't forget to vote, and don't vote for that communist bitch Zoran Mamdani. Do not vote for that fucker. Vote for Cuomo or vote for what I'm going to vote for, Sliwa. And that's it. So, we move on with that. Alright, I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, once again, 6.25 out of 5 stars for 6.25 out of 10 stars for Ring of Honor. Give me your thoughts down below, and like Trick Willie would say, let's talk about it. And that's that. Alright, guys, thanks for watching. Until next time, peace, bitch.